So let me welcome everyone for coming here this morning to this engagement, what TTMA has an offer for you, what we can do for you. This webinar was conceptualized by me to bring to you, our members and listening audience, bring to you the services that Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association can provide to you and have been providing to our value stakeholders all of our existence since 1956. Today, we are very fortunate to have three of our team leads, Mr. Christian George, Ms. Brittany Wright, and Ms. Joy Francis, to bring some perspective from their respective units to you. They will do that. Let me just give you all an oversight of how this engagement will take place. After my introductory remarks, I will ask each one of my heads to bring some discussions and perspective from their respective units to you guys. That they will take 10 minutes each to make those presentations, and then we will have the remaining half an hour to field questions from you guys on anything that was presented to you, on anything related to the TTMA and its secretariat. Just a little bit of oversight of the TTMA. The TTMA is the representative of the non-energy manufacturing sector in Trinidad and Tobago. We have approximately 520 members. We are made up of manufacturers and associated members who are not manufacturers but related to manufacturing in some form or fashion and assist in manufacturing. The secretariat, the secretariat is run by a management committee that has oversight from the board. The board is led by our president, Ms. Franca Costello. We have two vice presidents, Ms. Trisha Kusal and Mr. Ryan Lewis, and we have a corporate secretary, Mr. Dale Parson. And if any of them here, I just would like to acknowledge all our board of directors who are probably on listening to this engagement. The membership of the TTMA is varied and wide. We have a large representation from the food and beverage sector, printing and packaging, chemicals. We have various sectors that are represented here. We have large manufacturers, we have medium, we have small, and we have associated manufacturers. We represent over 95% of the manufacturers who export. So all of the manufacturers in Trinidad and Tobago who export, not all manufacturers, but all who export, over 95% of that number are members of the TTMA. Some of the main offerings of the TTMA would fall in the area of advocacy, trade, business development, marketing. I'm not going to go into advocacy, trade, business development because our presenters here will touch on those things, but we do have another very important arm of the TTMA that speaks to marketing, that has oversight for some of our major events such as the AGM, President's Dinner, as well as TIC. Our marketing head is not here today. Unfortunately for her, she just had birth, so she wouldn't be available here. She had birth of her second child, so she wouldn't be available here today to bring greetings to you guys. But she plays a very important role, oversight for, as I said, some of the events that we have as President's Dinner, AGM, and TIC that is presently going on. With that oversight and introduction to the TTMA, I will now turn over to some of the featured speakers because these are the people you really come here to hear from this morning. Our first speaker will be Mr. Christian George. He's team lead of the Ease of Doing Business unit at the TTMA for approximately 1 year now. Prior to this appointment, he worked in the trade unit of the association for 8 years, addressing numerous trade-related issues affecting local manufacturers. He's a graduate of the University of the West Indies, where he studied management studies and finance at the undergraduate level, followed by international relations at the postgraduate level. His thesis was focused on analyzing Trinidad and Tobago exports and markets that Trinidad and Tobago has signed trade agreements. A certified international trade specialist, Mr. George's primary area of interest is in competitiveness of SMEs in small island developing state. Mr. Christian George.
All right, thank you, Dr. Amdeen, and good afternoon to all of the persons who are joining us for this webinar. As Dr. Anu would have indicated, my name is Christian George, and I'm the team lead of the Ease of Doing Business unit here at the TTMA. So let me begin with indicating what my area of focus here is at the TTMA. So as the team leader of the Ease of Doing Business unit, my colleague Ilanka and I are tasked with addressing several concerns. One of these concerns is manufacturers' access to foreign exchange. Over the past few years, manufacturers have experienced some level of difficulty when accessing Forex, and TTMA has been liaising with the government on these issues, these concerns, and lobbied for a dedicated Forex facility. The end result being a dedicated facility at the Exim Bank for manufacturers. This facility has been utilized by several manufacturers to date, and the TTMA continues to work with the Exim Bank to ensure that this facility remains easily accessible to you as the manufacturer. We also assist in the setting up of the meetings between Exim Bank and the manufacturer, and Exim Bank actually recognizes TTMA as that main conduit, a reliable conduit, a reliable source of providing Exim Bank with the necessary clients that can access this Forex facility, which would help benefit the local industry of Trinidad and Tobago. Another prevalent issue is illicit trade. And in looking at illicit trade, I don't want any of the attendees, any of the companies to think that it only pertains to drugs, arms, and ammunition. And I don't want you to think that there's a complex definition to illicit trade. Illicit trade is simply trade that is illicit. How it manifests itself, it can be manifested in labeling infractions. So if it is that a product does not meet the local labeling regulations, it can manifest itself with regards to products that don't meet the specifications that are required by our local regulations. It can manifest itself in tax evasion. So if it is that you are evading paying the correct import duty on a particular item, for example, can manifest itself in counterfeiting, and I can go on. So there are various ways in which illicit trade can manifest itself, but the bottom line is once it is that there are products being sold, being traded on the local market that don't comply with local laws, they are in fact part of illicit trade. Many companies and consumers actually aren't aware that this is even an issue. So there are some persons that don't even recognize that, if it is you buy a product that is not labeled properly, you're actually committing or contributing to a crime, because as a matter of fact, it is contributing local laws. But the issue is very much clear in the eyes of TTMA. Illicit trade negatively affects members of the business community who play by the rules, and there are also potential health concerns to unaware consumers. To address this issue, the TTMA has worked assiduously to raise consumer awareness over the past, I'd say, 18 months. And this has been done via printed articles. We have done at least one article per month, as well as various TV interviews featuring different manufacturers, as well as the president of the TTMA. A task force has been created, and this task force involves members of the TTPS, Intellectual Property Office, the Bureau of Standards, etc. Training sessions have been conducted with both customs and TTPS, and this is with regards to different pieces of legislation, so that those officers, customs officers, and police officers are aware of what the legislation has with regards to tackling illicit trade. And there have been seizures of illicit items to date. Even the Minister of Trade and Industry actually recognized TTMA's efforts in combating illicit trade in a recent sitting of Parliament. So TTMA has illicit trade as a key item on its agenda, and we have been working in not only making sure that people are aware that, hey, illicit trade is happening and it is an issue, but trying to find ways to eradicate this scourge that affects our local economy. The inability to receive VAT refunds in a timely manner is also an issue, and it affects the cash flow of many companies. I can tell you that TTMA has constantly liaised with the government on a payment of VAT refunds, especially for businesses involved in exports. They are the ones that feel it more. I would also say that these various engagements, which would have been led by the executive, the board of the TTMA, these engagements between the association and the government, in some way, if not a major way, would have led to the issuance of the VAT bonds, which has been utilized by several manufacturers to date. However, this continues to be an agenda item for the unit, for the ease of doing business unit, as we continue to monitor and to try to ensure that these VAT refunds can finally be paid in a very, very timely manner to the manufacturers. The time and cost of clearing cargo at the ports is also of concern to the manufacturers and to the various consumers as well. The TTMA, in collaboration with various other business support organizations, we have been liaising with the Ministry of Finance as well as the Customs and Excise Division to find ways to improve the efficiency with regards to clearing of cargo. These discussions are ongoing to ensure that border security is maintained while not adversely affecting the receipt of the cargo by those consumers as well as the importers, especially in the upcoming weeks. Christmas time tends to be one of those busy times for the consumers and for the ports, and so we are trying to ensure that there's not much of a delay when these, not too much of a cost, because there's also rent and damage involved when containers remain on the port too long, but not more so than the cost, that the time taken to clear the cargo is not too exorbitant. There are other issues that the Ease of Doing Business unit examines, including alternative packaging in Trinidad and Tobago, the development of industrial parks. We even look at trade facilitation to some extent. Um, Having said that, addressing all of these areas require the unit to engage valued stakeholders such as the Port of Spain, Plebdeco, the Shipping Association, ETEC, the Bureau of Standards, Customs Division, Exim Bank, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade and Industry, and other government agencies and ministries. But more importantly, addressing these areas requires input from the TTMA's constituents. Therefore, I am pleased to indicate that I am more than willing to do my part in developing Trinidad and Tobago's industry, and I do look forward to working with manufacturers in improving the ease of doing business in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christian, for that very informative discussion on the unit that you lead at the TTMA in terms of bringing some ease to the manufacturing sector in Trinidad and Tobago. You touch on some very key points, and I'm sure we'll have some questions on things on like illicit trade, accessing foreign exchange, addressing port and other challenges on the port in terms of delays and these kind of things. Um, I would like to now introduce to you all, and I want to reiterate that please, if you have any questions, post them in the Q&A, post them in the chat, and we'll take your question at the end of the engagement. I would like now to introduce to you all the lead of our business development unit, Ms. Brittany White. Ms. Brittany Wright. She has been with the TTMA over the last 4 years. Brittany is currently the team lead of the business development unit at the TTMA and is the secretariat support for membership and productivity committees. Two very important committees. The productivity committee is geared towards the digital transformation of the business community in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as addressing issues related to productivity, issues such as labor and these kind of things. With regards to membership, is servicing the needs of the members outside of trade and other specific areas that Christian already spoke to. And she's charged with building capacity in the membership as well. So things like training, building capacity with training, bringing new information to the membership that can enhance the operations. She's a graduate of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus with a Bachelor of Science degree in economics and a minor in marketing. I introduce to you Ms. Brittany Wright. Brittany?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Thank you for joining us today. Today, I will be discussing three major objectives under the business development unit. The first one would be our education toolkit. And a lot of our members may not be familiar with this, so I will share some insight into it. One of the areas that, first of all, the education toolkit, it involves collaborations with educational providers in our membership, and they have tailored programs just for our membership, and it comprises of three main programs right now. One would be the SME toolkit led by UE Roytech, and that toolkit, it comprises of various corporate courses with three short courses, so 3-day and 2-day courses. It aims at increasing the competitiveness of SMEs through training. It also identifies unique problems and challenges that members locally are facing, and it also ensures export readiness of SMEs. So UE Roytech currently has a program of online courses. However, in the new calendar year, they will have physical courses. But for now, we do have some coming up this month. So I want you all to look out for that. We would be promoting it heavily through social media as well as on our website and via email. Additionally, we have the CARES program. So the CARES program is led by a company called Partners for Performance. And basically, it focuses on complementary skills that are essential in shaping competitive, agile, responsible, entrepreneurial, and sustainable businesses. And it is led by Ms. Natalie Eibel, and it offers practical training as well as post-training support. Additionally, it demonstrates the best practice in industry and service sectors, and it helps with MSMEs access to local and global supply chains. So that's the second one. The third one would be Action Coach Business Coaching Services, which is led by a company called Action Edge Limited. So Action Edge Limited comprised of a team of coaches that works with companies and individuals to build stronger, more profitable, and smarter businesses. They also have a vision to create abundance, be the exception, and to sustain long-lasting positive change in the business community. So this company is new to the membership, but they have a lot to offer, and you will see some new interesting details on their program soon. Basically, our toolkit, education toolkit, we would like to foster greater efficiency within the workforce, and we think that our membership can truly benefit from this. Right now, I would say it's undersubscribed, so I would encourage members to consider it. It is discounted for our members, and it is accessible online right now with the current restrictions. But if it is that you're interested in these programs, any of the programs I just mentioned, you can email me. I will put my email in the chat box after. Um, I would also like to touch on digital transformation, which, as the CEO mentioned, is a big push under the Productivity Committee. And as part of our non-energy manufacturing export strategic plan, this committee was created this year to focus on driving um, advanced technology initiatives in areas of ICT, as well as labor productivity and manufacturing efficiency programs. So we would like to expose our membership to the digital world and best practices in business operations and to build competencies. We also would like to allow our members to sustain and grow operations in the global environment. To do this, thus far, we have introduced a webinar series with lead experts in the industry. And firstly, we had a successful webinar on June 29th this year, and the title was Industry 4.0 through Digital Transformation. So in this webinar, we realized that as we deal with the impacts of COVID-19 and the new normal, it's time to use technology to adapt and to overcome these challenges, as well as elevate productivity and efficiency. So this is one of the things that we've done so far under the Productivity Committee. Through webinars, we have informed members of the opportunities and of the types of tools you can use to go through the journey of digital transformation. And additionally, our committee is also looking at learning factory. So it's still in the early phases, but basically we are collaborating with the University of the West Indies engineering, the Faculty of Engineering, and we're looking at developing a learning factory in Trinidad and Tobago. And this learning factory will focus on the needs of the SMEs, and we would like to develop their capabilities to use technology, because we know a lot of companies may not have that expertise. So we want a physical demonstration lab that is focused on high technology and digital tools. And it's in the early phase. So what we have done thus far is we've sent out a membership survey to determine the needs of our members into this factory. We want to ensure that we capture everything. And that's why the survey is very important. I'm not sure if anyone in attendance would have gotten a chance to respond, but we would like your feedback. Even if you've never implemented technology before, it's very important to give us feedback on this. And then we'll be using the survey responses to develop a proposal from there, we'll be applying for funding, and then we'll take it further into an actual physical space to demonstrate technology. So those are upcoming things under the productivity committee that you can look out for, and we will have a lot of webinars in the future that will focus on digital transformation, Industry 4.0, and all of that. So that's with that. Additionally, um, another service and aspect of TTMA is our facility called TTMA Careers. It's an online facility. It's basically a virtual point for all manufacturers and related industries that are seeking to employ personnel in different job levels, starting from factory, semi-skilled, technical, and management. So we connect all employers from those sectors with all persons who are looking for job. So we call them job seekers, and we connect the two on this platform. So this platform is available on our website. There is a tab for TTMA careers, and basically the facility reflects TTMA's commitment to closing the gap the labor gaps that exist in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have done so. So far, we have allowed our members the option of posting limitless jobs. We've also given them the opportunity to have access to the database of job seekers, to job applications, and it's a free service to our membership right now. I would like to encourage members who have not used this facility to use it. You can contact myself or my colleague Troy, and we will assist you. It's a very user-friendly website, and I would say it's definitely focused on the local labor force. So we have been trying to match the needs of our members, and this has been a useful platform thus far. And in terms of the platform, I would say that I hope for growth within the next year, because I do see it is undersubscribed right now. So I would encourage members to consider using this platform to advertise jobs as well as seeking employers. So this is the three main areas I would like to share today. So I thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, please post this in the chat.
Thank you very much, Brittany. Just want to touch on one thing that Brittany said about the job career. You know, it's a very successful avenue for people who are looking for jobs in this very trying time. We do have a significant amount of openings still in the manufacturing sector. And those who are looking for qualified people, manufacturers, please come to list your postings and your jobs, availability of jobs at the manufacturing job career facility. As Brittany said, we are matching people. Up to yesterday, we were able to secure one person for a particular manufacturer who have been searching to find someone to fill a very important role in the organization. So we can't underestimate the role and the importance of that job career facility can offer to you, our members. So you have heard from Christian and his team, which comprise of Elanka. You have heard from Brittany and her team, which the other major player in her team is Troy. Let me just spend a little time to mention two other units that exist at the TTMA. I mentioned the marketing unit, but I didn't mention some of the people involved in the marketing unit as Kadisha, Brittany, Shana, and it's all led by Kailash. So these are some of the names I sure you have been hearing from the TTMA, some of the people that you're interacting. So you have a fair appreciation of which unit they belong to. We also have the finance, HR, and administrative unit head by Shabana. And some of the people in that unit are Neela, Ashok, Adrian, Anna, and Kim. And I am very fortunate and blessed to have a very efficient executive assistant who works with me, and that's Candice. And I'm sure you hear some of these names, some of these people you interact with when you call, so you have a fair appreciation of the unit that they belong to. Now I'd like to introduce the third presenter this afternoon, and that is Ms. Joy Francis. Joy Francis is the team lead of the trade unit at the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. At this job post, she monitors all trade agreements with Trinidad and Tobago that Trinidad and Tobago is party to, including CARICOM bilateral trade agreements and the Trinidad and Tobago bilateral trade agreements. She currently holds a MSc in economics from the University of the West Indies. She is also an international trade specialist from the Export TT's International Trade Program. Ms. Joy Francis.
All right, good afternoon. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, yes, we are, Joy.
All right, thank you so much, and welcome all to this very exciting webinar. And I will just start off by just telling you about the two major committees that are under the trade unit, right? And that will tell you more information about the services that are really offered by the trade unit, and of course, overall by TTMA. So under the trade unit, I should also indicate to you in terms of the structure, you have myself and you also have my colleague, Mr. Ishmael Ali, who is also the research officer under the trade unit, right? And we tend to look primarily at trade advocacy issues. So under the trade unit, we have what is referred to as the Standing Committee on Trade and Related Matters. That particular committee really looks at monitoring all the trade agreements and all issues that are related to CARICOM related concerns and issues. So therefore, if a member wants to get information about any of the CARICOM bilateral agreements, and you know there is many, they have the CARICOM Cuba, there's the CARICOM Dominican Republic, CARICOM Venezuela, and even also our TT bilateral agreements, we are able to provide you information. So for example, if you want to know if your product is able to have preferential access, we are able to provide you that kind of information because that particular committee monitors all the trade agreements and again, all the related trade concerns, especially dealing with CARICOM. So we also monitor a lot of the trade related concerns and issues. So therefore, for example, issues like national policies, for example, the national quality policy, we also tend to monitor that. We also monitor the WTO trade facilitation agreement because TTMA is part of other several committees that, for example, the National Trade Facilitation Committee and also the National Quality Policy. So at the trade unit, we do tend to follow a lot of these trade-related concerns and agreements. And again, also too, if you want to find out more about the common external tariff, understanding the suspension of the CET, regional policies, again, the trade unit is able to provide that kind of information. And as indicated by both my colleague, Christian, and also Brittany, a large part of the work that we do is disseminating a lot of information, and we do that via our seminars. And this year, as because of COVID-19, we had a lot of webinars. And with the trade unit, we did a lot of webinars. So earlier in the year, we had a webinar on the Trade Fading Commission, with the Trade Fading Commission. We had also too about understanding other regulatory bodies. So we had a session with TTBS, Planned Quarantine. All of these entities are very important in helping our manufacturers. And what I could tell you, under the Standing Committee on Trade and Related Matters, there are several representatives from different stakeholders. So we have, for example, Export TT. We have, for example, CFDD, Chemistry, Food and Drug Division. We also have, for example, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. And what we tend to do with this committee is that we tend to allow our private sector, because right now the committee is chaired by Mr. George Nemi, our TTMA director. We allow our members to really converse on trade-related issues that is taking place both at the national level, at the regional level, and also at the international level. And so therefore, if it is any of our members have any concerns or issues, we really tap into that particular network, all right? What I could tell you for this year, for 2020, we have been working a lot with our regional business support organizations. For example, the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, the Guyana Manufacturers Association. I mean, we worked with them previously, but this year it has really been, we have been really increased our interaction with them, looking on many issues. And what I also want to tell you, our members, to also look forward to the mere fact that we are also trying to establish what is referred to as a CARICOM Manufacturers Association. And so therefore we will be able to use that particular platform in where we could also get more information about understanding our other markets out there, and of course trying our best to look at the concerns that is affecting our regional producers, right? So that is the Standing Committee on Trade and Related Matters. The other committee that the trade union tends to also monitor is the Export Marketing Committee. Now, this particular committee is chaired right now by Mr. Ryan Lewis, the vice president, one of our vice presidents at TTMA. This committee is really tasked with really providing market intelligence. You know, a lot of our members, they tend to want to get information about understanding a particular market. And so we try our best to disseminate a lot of information about understanding markets of interest where they would like to export. And so for this year also too, we had a lot of webinars specifically looking at doing business in CARICOM. As you know, CARICOM is one of our major trading partners, right? If you look at our trade statistics, you would see Jamaica, Guyana, a lot of these countries tend to come up very high, and we try our best to disseminate information about understanding these markets through this Export Marketing Committee. What I can also tell you, under the Export Marketing Committee, we also have, what we have is our virtual trade missions. I should say, even before the virtual trade missions, we had the, the normal face-to-face trade missions, and where we really provide an open for our manufacturers to enter into other markets. And this year, we must have been very proud to say that, we continue to push that particular trust in trying our best to make sure that our members are able to enter, able to get more market intelligence through our virtual trade missions. We had virtual trade missions to Guyana, Barbados, and Jamaica. And over those 3 trade missions, we had close to almost 200 business meetings, all right? So a lot of our members were able to get a lot of business meetings. And I must admit that there were 1 or 2 companies who were able to get some business deals. So we're very proud to really continue to help our members to expand their market opportunities on with this with the virtual trade missions. I also want to tell you also about this particular initiative under the Export Marketing Committee, referred to as the Procurement Model Initiative, where we do have agents from other countries, right, who are helping our members to expose their products and services in that particular market. Currently, we have the procurement model with Guyana. We have close to 10 companies. Now, this procurement model initiative goes beyond just trade missions. So the agent in that particular market, they not only provide market intelligence, but they identify distributors, and they also help you with the registration of the products in that particular market. So you would see that we are really trying our best to push and really help our members to really, enter into other markets, the virtual trade missions, the procurement models, having our various webinars to provide you more information about understanding markets, trade agreements. So what I could tell you is that with the trade unit, as I said, we try our best to encourage our members to understand more about other markets. We understand more about trade agreements, understand more about the CARICOM markets. And for 2021, we will be doing the same, again, pushing our members. We really want our members to be globally competitive, and we're finding ways to ensure that we're making use of the technology. Just as what Brittany stated, there will be a push and a drive for 2021 to really push our members, to expand and to continue, because we want companies to export, and so therefore we are pushing forward with this. So in conclusion, that is just some information about understanding the trade unit, and you could always message me at and I will provide my contact information in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joy, for that very informative presentation on what your unit has to offer for the membership. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, valued stakeholders. You have heard from the 3 team leads of our three of the main units of the TTMA that offer their services to you. Let me say that the TTMA recognize the tiered level of our membership, where we have large members, we have medium-sized members, we have small members, we have entrepreneurship, which is individuals and less than 5 members. I'm saying that to say that we recognize that there their needs will vary. It will be wide and it will be varied. The large manufacturers' needs will be varied from what the medium manufacturer need, what the smaller manufacturer need, what the exporter need as opposed to someone who's not exporting. The way we operate inside the TTMA is that we take all these concerns on board in how we set up our operations. So we don't address the needs for the large manufacturers only. We don't address outcomes of large manufacturers only. We are here to represent all our stakeholders equally. We don't discriminate in terms of prioritizing the needs of one over the needs of the other. We have a very diligent board of directors that give us the oversight and set the policy for us to engage the process. So we provide information, we create opportunities for you. We have a target of doubling export in the next 5 years. And in so doing, we need to work with you, which is the members who are actually engaging in export. So we're here to assist in any way possible. One of our major goals come next year will be to work with government to ease the ease of doing business challenges in Trinidad and Tobago. As Christian touched on the illicit trade, if we could combat that, we feel that we could create more market opportunities, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but within the wider CARICOM region and the hemisphere. So we are here to work with you. We're here to bring information. We're here to build capacity in labor. We're here to pivot to digital 4.0. We're here to address your concerns with regards to export. We are creating opportunities through the missions, through TIC that is taking place right now. We ask anyone who hasn't had the opportunity at this point to visit the trade floor, feel free to do so. You can register at ttma.com/TIC /buyers to register to get your credentials, and you can visit the trade floor over the next 3 days. Just go on the site and you'll see some of the plethora of different sectors and companies, not only from Trinidad and Tobago, but from over 17 different countries throughout the hemisphere participating in the process. So please use the opportunity to engage the TIC trade floor. So now we will take some questions that were posed on the chat. I have some here coming in on WhatsApp, as well as the Q&A. So let me start. Someone is asking a question here, Mr. Kevon Paris, about trade opportunities in Costa Rica. Joyce, person said that not much information is out there on the trade opportunities that exist with Costa Rica. They would like to know what Costa Rica produce generally and what they can source from Costa Rica, I would assume by the question that is being posed here. And do you have a repository of a list of CARICOM buyers that they could work with? I guess, you could take that question, Joy.
All right, so in terms of getting market intelligence information about Costa Rica, what I could tell you is that normally TTMA, we would interact with, I believe there's Costa Rica. So we tend to also get information from that entity to understand more about the Costa Rican market. We also would also get market intelligence from Export TT. They also have done a lot of research with regards to other markets. So we really tap, if it is that you want to get information about understanding the Costa Rica market, we could definitely try our best to get information from these other entities. In terms of the list of CARICOM buyers, we would also be able to get that kind of information. Of course, it depends on the type of product that you want to every product you may want to export to the country. That will determine what type of buyer. And as I said, TTMA, we tend to work very closely with other regional business support organizations. And so therefore, getting that kind of information in terms of the list of CARICOM buyers, we would be able to get.
Okay, thank you very much, Joy. Someone is asking if the recording will be, if this session will be recorded. Yes, it will be recorded, and it will be made available to you. It will be posted on our website. Another question here, Christian, for you is on, I have someone sending something on WhatsApp. They're talking about illicit trade. They would like to know a little more about what is happening with illicit trade to take all the illegal products out of the market. Is anything being done in that regard? Because that is creating unfair competition for locally manufactured goods and services. Christian?
Right, so thanks for that question. And yes, most definitely, the government recognizes that illicit trade is an issue. not only was it in the manifesto of the PNM, but is actually part of the current government's mandate. There's a mandate to actually tackle illicit trade. It was mentioned by the Minister of Trade during one of her recent contributions in the Parliament, and she would have also met with different private sector representatives to devise a way to or ways in which we can tackle illicit trade.
Okay,
The,
thank you very
the,
much.
the reality is that there are different, there are different products and there are different agencies and there are different avenues by which we'll have to tackle it. So, for example, how we tackle the illicit trade of smuggled animals is different to how we'll deal with incorrectly labeled products, to how we'll deal with products that aren't meant for the Trinidad and Tobago market but end up here anyway. And so there are different ways and avenues which you'll have to address it. What I can tell you is that the different agencies are aware that this is an issue because the government has made it known that this is an issue. And so we are working with the different agencies, be it the customs as far as border control is concerned, be it police as far as when it's already in the market is concerned. We are looking at different ways to address it. And of course, we will address it based on the product as well.
Question, a follow up on that. The person is asking if they are aware of unfair goods on the actually on the market on shelves. Can they bring that to the TTMA's attention?
Yes, please do. So, as I would have said in my original presentation, we would require information from the manufacturers, from the public as well, even to help combat or to help address the various issues that the manufacturing community faces. So yes, if there's information you have, that would count as market intelligence, and that will help us greatly, because it's only those people who are actually involved in the trade. So let's say, for example, you are, let's say you're selling bleach, for example, or any sort of disinfectant. Only you as a manufacturer or distributor who's involved in the disinfectant trade will be able to point out and say, well, here what, I'm seeing this particular brand doesn't have the required chemicals to call it a disinfectant, or it's not labeled properly, or those different issues. You as the person in the trade can identify that, and you can pass that information to us. So as with my other colleagues, I would also provide my email address so that you can provide that information. And yes, we can forward that information to the relevant agencies. They can have, once they have that information, they can go and tackle the distributor or the person who is part of this illicit trade activity, and they can have that addressed. So yes, please send that information to us.
Okay, thank you very much, Christian. Um, I have a question here from Gabriel Clark. Brittany, this might be more relevant to you. The person is asking, do you guys, I would assume the TTMA and its membership, have internship opportunities for students who like to be part of the industry? So Brittany, probably you could try to tackle this, and I could
Yeah.
probably build in some stuff here.
So what I will say is that under the productivity committee, we created a subgroup that is looking at internship opportunities, and this is in the works for for next year. So I could say that we are looking to gather a group of manufacturers that will be willing to work with us to offer these opportunities within the next year. So I can just note that it is already on our agenda, and it is a priority under the productivity committee.
But let me just add to what Brittany said, and as some of the speakers before alluded to, that we work in collaboration with a number of different partners, the Bureau of Standards, Chemistry, Food and Drug, Export TT, the Ministry of Trade, various ministries, NTA. And I'm saying that to say that right now I have been having some discussions together with the chair of Brittany Committee of Productivity that is going to roll out a national program for internship with the NTA. So that is something to look forward to, where we could actually have students coming and working on various job sites, getting credit for it and that kind of thing. So a lot of work is being done in that regard to develop that framework. A lot of talk has been done as well in the past to have a similar frameworks in place. But right now we're trying to ensure that whatever is brought to the fore, brought to the students of Trinidad and Tobago is something that is sustainable. So we don't want to rush it too much. This year with COVID, it kind of slowed down the progress where we wanted to be with that. But as Brittany said, in 2021, look forward to that kind of framework that will be in place. Joy, another question coming here for you is something about CARICOM trade. What the person would like to know is what is being done to accelerate the CSME so that trade could flow the way it's supposed to within the CARICOM region. Any issue on that?
Well, the progress has been slow. I know that at the regional level, when TTMA, when we go along with the delegation with the Ministry of Trade to quoted meetings, there have been a lot of how would you say, policies, administrative procedures, with CARICOM, you're dealing with 15 CARICOM member states. And so therefore, even when, if there is some sort of progress to move to the CSME, a lot of national legislations need to be finalized, individual CARICOM member states. And so therefore, I know for a fact that, at the Ministry of Trade, the legislation is being looked at, being examined, and other CARICOM member states. And so therefore, it has been taking time. The process has been slow, but it's one of the major goals of CARICOM, of the CARICOM Secretariat, to definitely have the CSME in place. But because of a lot of issues, and now because of the COVID-19, this has also even further slowed down the implementation of the CSME. And so therefore, but as I said, it's still on the agenda, and therefore, members could definitely look forward to seeing, what the opportunities that would be identified with the CSME. So for example, more free movement, even though that's supposed to be taking place, free movement of people, free movement of labor, capital, that also still need to be worked out.
Thank you very much, Joy. Brittany, I have a question here from G. Luke. I don't know what the G stand for. They're asking, what would you say are currently the key opportunities for small businesses to join the TTMA if they are not exporting at this point in time? So I guess the question will be is what advantages are there for someone wanting to join the TTMA if they are not presently an exporter? So
Okay.
just add to that, or start off answering the question. You don't need to be an exporter to be a member of the TTMA. Go ahead, Brittany.
Yeah, in terms of small companies, micro companies, some instant benefits would definitely be networking opportunities, exposure, brand exposure, access to our database of members, so where you could find potential clients. You could also have the support of marketing. We have a marketing department. We have platforms that we can advertise. We allow advertisements at discounted rates for small members. So there are many opportunities, but from the top of my head, I would call those as the top ones for small companies.
Okay. So as Brittany rightly alluded to, there are a number of opportunities for the small manufacturers to join the TTMA still. We can be the voice for you. We can advocate for you. So we can address some of your concern. We could provide opportunities in terms of sourcing raw material for you. We could provide market intelligence for you. If you importing products, we could help you get your duty-free concession. We could walk you through those issues, licensing. There are a number of different things, help you put you on with suppliers, sourcing material, raw material, help you understand what are the trade arrangements for you to import your imported raw material. If you're not quite ready to export, we'll push you in the area to export so you could earn your own foreign exchange and provide all the opportunities for you via the trade agreements that exist, CARICOM. But there are many opportunities. As I said, we have significant amount of members belonging to the TTMA, but not all of them are exporters. A lot of them are producers that service just the domestic market, that being Trinidad and Tobago. Christian, someone here is asking about what is being done to address the issues pertaining to availability of foreign exchange cash. I guess overall you could look at the question from that perspective. What is being done to assist with making cash available to manufacturers? I guess this is the FX question, but for Exim Bank, you could look at it from that perspective. Christian?
Sure, thanks. And before I continue, let me also indicate that the particular unit that I work at, the Ease of Doing Business unit, there are two committees that fall under this unit. Those are the Advocacy Committee and the Infrastructure Committee. The Advocacy Committee is the one that will handle issues such as the Forex, VAT refunds, illicit trade. Infrastructure Committee is the one that looks at the industrial parks, the ports, customs, etc. So, with regards to the questions on the availability of forex, as I said, we work very closely with the Exim Bank. As a matter of fact, Exim Bank actually sits on that aforementioned advocacy committee. That facility is available, but if there if there if there may be some difficulty in accessing that particular facility, which I mentioned earlier, Exim Bank has a wide range of options that are really geared towards providing access to forex for manufacturers. What I would like to recommend, Dr. Ramdeen, is that that person contacts me, and so I can have a further understanding of where that person is, what that person's requirements are, and I can help pitch that person towards the right or the best or the most apt facility for him or her at the Exim Bank. So please contact me directly. Either myself or my colleague Ilanka will revert to you with further details as to the different facilities available at Exim Bank. It's really geared towards manufacturers. And I think that, I mean, uh, once you're a manufacturer, for sure, I am confident that you will be successful. So let's have a talk.
So, Kristen, building on that response, I mean, we could also point to the person to some of the other facilities like the First Citizen SME loan. We could help you in that regard. Reach out to us because we do work closely with First Citizen and some of the loans. And Netco has the grant facility. Reach out to us at the TTMA. We could put you on to the right people at Netco. And then I know the question didn't speak to some of the other fiscal opportunities that are there, but reach out to us at the TTMA, the trade unit, the business development unit, and we can assist you with getting access to some of the facilities, the research and development facility at Exim Bank. We could help you with the various proposal, even regionally with CEDA that have their various facility as well to participate free in some missions, to get grant facilities, to get funding facilities under the European Development Fund. We at the TTM can help walk you through these processes. We can help you with the proposal, help you draft the proposal. We have done it for quite a number of our manufacturers who have been able to access these facilities and today are very successful for it. For example, we have companies such as, and I don't want to call companies' name, but we have small operators who have been able to access these facilities and today are exporting in the international arena. So guys, there are many opportunities. Once you're thinking about getting involved in business, come to us at ETTMA. I
Dr.
have a
Ramdeen,
question.
can I just quickly interject there as well? Just one quick plug. So following up on that fiscal incentives, I'm pleased to note that the Ministry of Trade and Industry would have held a webinar on fiscal incentives. It is available on demand on the TIC webinar webpage. So that's ttma.com/TIC/seminars. You can see the list of pre-recorded webinars. I can also see that Ministry of Trade and EY will be hosting webinars tomorrow on exporting and on fiscal incentives. So I encourage you, if you are interested in finding out more information about accessing grants, funds, facilities, etc. Check out either one or both of those webinars tomorrow, as well as the previously held webinar by the Ministry of Trade.
Okay, I have a question here that's kind of related to the topic, so I'll go straight into that. The person is asking, what do TTMA provide a service for members to expand their business locally? And they give an example of how, if TTMA could help in this regard in terms of matchmaking, put local manufacturers together with distributors in Trinidad and the supermarket, the retailers, and that kind of thing. I don't know. Brittany, you want to take that question?
Yeah. Because our membership is so large, I could definitely connect you with other members, depending on your needs. So we can connect you with other members, and we could also assist with setting up the business-to-business meetings. So you can just contact me, and my email is posted in the chat if you're interested in this.
Right. So building on that response from Brittany, what we can tell you is we have a very close working relationship with the Supermarket Association, as well as a lot of the distributors in Trinidad and Tobago are members of the TTMA. And they are members because there are synergistic benefits for them to be members of the TTMA and for our manufacturers actually to have a reach with those distributors and retailers. So TTMA is your voice, is your conduit to bridge the divide between you and the retailers, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but regionally. And this dovetails nicely with a question that someone is asking here about whether it's a good idea to do business with another manufacturer in another country that manufacture similar product, and the person could be the conduit for that person to distribute in Trinidad. Likewise, that person could be a distributor of product products in Trinidad. So basically, I think the question really and truly, Joy, that you could answer it, whether it's a good idea to engage with a distributor in another country so they could distribute your product, and in return, that person could be a distributor for someone willing to export goods into Trinidad and Tobago.
It's an interesting a market entry approach strategy. I mean, it's something that it can be looked at to see whether or not if there are any benefits or opportunities with that. I mean, we are often pushing TTMA is often pushing our members to really find innovative ways in which to export your particular product and to find opportunities. So therefore, even outside of the normal exporting, when you do the market research, there are some markets which will indicate to you that it could be better to look at having joint ventures or having partnerships. I know there are one or two larger companies. What they have done is that they would first, before even entering to understand more of the market, what they would do, they might decide to do some sort of joint venture or partnership even before they're ready to make sure that they're able to enter into the market. So that's just some of the market entries. So therefore, it's something that we could look at in terms of helping our companies to enter into the market. And so therefore, I could definitely see that could be one of the ways to really help a company enter into that market. Also, what I wanted to state is that in terms of helping companies who wants to expand into the local domestic market, what I could tell you, earlier this year at TTMA, we did facilitate a trade mission with PriceSmart. Right, so we do tend to work closely with a lot of our supermarkets and PriceSmart. We had a major trade mission in Trinidad with the TTMA with PriceSmart, and so therefore we do facilitate that particular sort of
And just to build on what Joy is saying there, that trade engagement with PriceSmart not only facilitated local manufacturers getting into PriceSmart Trinidad, but it was PriceSmart throughout the hemisphere. So it was PriceSmart Guatemala, El Salvador, Jamaica, Barbados. So it was PriceSmart across all PriceSmart operations. Again, just to touch on the question about Suriname, the person asked about doing business with Suriname. Is Suriname considered a good opportunity? And Joy, I could take this for you. Suriname is part of the CARICOM framework. A lot of people don't realize that. And as such, it means that all your goods that you produce in Trinidad and Tobago could get into the Surinamese market duty-free. So if you are producing and you qualify as a manufacturer and you get your certification, again, the TTMA work with Export TT, we would help you with the certification process. These things are easy to do. You see, a lot of people don't understand and they think it's the paperwork, but we could walk you through this, get these things organized for you. Once you produce in your products, it could get into any CARICOM market or any market that we have a trade agreement with. And Joy has talked about some of the bilaterals regionally, but we have markets in Europe. We have the Economic Partnership Agreement in Europe. We have duty-free, quota-free access into North America, both Canada and United States. So you could get your products into these markets. Work with us at the TTMA. We could help you get your products into these markets. Christian, there's someone asking a question here saying that they're still having some challenges with VAT. Can you give a little update on what is happening with the VAT and how people could work with us at the TTMA to address their VAT concerns?
So what we have, and thanks for that question, what we have asked companies to do, because the Board of Inland Revenue has made it clear that these VAT refunds is really between the Board of Inland Revenue and the particular company. So what we have asked companies to do is to write to the Board of Inland Revenue, but copy the TTMA so that the TTMA can advocate on the company's behalf. That's the first response. Secondly, what I can tell you is that the Minister of Finance would have indicated that $3 billion of the VAT refund, VAT bond, have been issued, which in his mind is a success. But what he also indicated in the budget is that based on that success, that he may be considering to issue more money in a similar VAT bond arrangement. What TTMA will be doing is liaising with the Ministry of Finance, not only on the VAT refund payments, but also on expanding that VAT bond framework. So what I'll need for the particular company to do is just to contact us to make sure that we are in the loop with their conversation with BIR. And once that's the case, it'll be easy for us to advocate on that particular company's behalf. irrespective of whether we get a letter or not, I can tell you for sure that we will be liaising with the Ministry of Finance and to take up the Minister of Finance on that particular offer to expand the VAT bond arrangement.
Okay, thank you very much, Christian. Brittany, there's someone asking a question here. How can someone wanting to enter into manufacturing industry get more information? And I know you in charge of membership.
Yeah.
You want to give some details
Well,
about how they could
it's
get in
kind
touch with
of
you?
it's kind of vague, so I could just post over my email in the chat, and we could have a better discussion, so I could understand what type of information they would like.
Well, I guess the person is asking how they could become a member of the TTMA. I think
Oh,
that
okay.
that might,
Well,
but
then I could
just
I
we
could
could
run
answer
through
that.
it. Yeah, I could
Yeah,
run
sure.
through it. Membership process is very easy at the TTMA. The information in terms of the application form and the brochure is on our website in the membership tab. Um, it's a quick process. Once you have filled out the form, we will contact you and explain the process. But basically, the board of directors meet once a month. So once we receive your company's application form, one reference letter, and this reference letter must be from a TTMA member, which includes all the major banks, as well as the payment for subscription fees and application fees. We will submit it for approval at board meeting. I would suggest that you contact me after the webinar, and we can start the process of membership. We do have a special right now for members joining for the remainder of the year. So if you pay now for 2021, you get the remainder of this year free in terms of our services. So that's the special that's taking place right now, as well as advertising opportunities. So I would suggest that you contact me. I'll post my email again in the chat. And the process is simple. We'll guide you through it. And once everything is completed, you will be submitted for approval.
Yeah, just building on Brittany response to that question, I'd just like to add is that there are many advantages to joining the TTMA. If you're interested in going into industry, if you're interested in finding out any market opportunities outside there, sourcing raw material for manufacturing, how you could bring in your products duty-free, get duty-free concession, how you could get access to loan, access to grant, access to any of the fiscal facilities that the government has to offer, the networking arrangement that we have at the TTMA to get you to match make business match make for you with distributors, retailers, put you onto other manufacturers. We are developing an incubation type framework where we could have some of the larger manufacturers share their experiences with smaller micro manufacturers who are thinking about getting into industry. That kind of mentorship program that we have in place. Within the ambit of the TTMA, we have the skill set to help you develop your export plan. We have training facilities to build competencies in areas like product development, marketing, advertisement, export strategies. All these are opportunities once you belong to the TTMA you could have as well. And we can't underestimate the importance of the network that we could create for you at the TTMA and be the voice for you at the TTMA. We have a very close working relationship, and I mentioned this before, with a number of stakeholders: the Bureau of Standards, the Controller of Customs, the plant and quarantine people at agriculture. We have some when I look at the list of the people who are participating in the seminar here, I'm seeing some of those very valuable stakeholders from the Bureau of Standards, from the Ministry of Trade. So you may not have that leverage and that reach to meet some of these people directly, but as a member of the TTMA, we can work with you to get your concerns addressed by the right people in these relevant authorities. So there are many advantages for joining the TTMA. Joy, I have someone here asking questions about trade missions and have they been successful. As it's about three parts to the question, because they're saying that they have been in a few trade missions as well. I don't know if it's with the TTMA because their chamber and other entities put on trade missions. So I don't know if they have been on TTMA trade missions, because we do tracer studies with our participants to track the successes for them. But they're saying they've been on some trade missions and they want to know how successful the trade missions have been, and they say they haven't had much successes in some trade missions that they have attended. But I don't know if it's with TTMA who they have attended trade missions with. You wanna get a feedback on that, and basically they're talking about Colombia and Costa Rica. And I know TTMA haven't done any trade missions to these two countries, but I know other entities have done trade missions to these two entities. So it may not be TTMA per se, but can you give a little feedback on how the trade missions have been and some successes probably they're asking about?
All right, so in terms of organizing our trade missions, there's a lot of preparation goes into it. And so we try our best to make sure to understand the needs, what exactly are the needs of the participants, those who are participating in the trade mission, to understand, what is the profile of the buyer that you want to meet. We work very closely with a consultant from that country that we want to have the trade mission with. And so therefore they will of course have the whereabouts, the understanding of the market. And so therefore we try our best to really make sure that the company participates, understand what is going on with the trade mission. Now, in terms of the success of the trade mission itself, a lot throughout the years, we've been having the trade missions from since 2013. We've been having the um, physical trade missions from 2013 up until, of course, 2019. And of course, this year, as I said, we had virtual trade missions. And, usually for almost every trade mission, a lot of companies tend to participate, a lot of companies participate from a wide cross-section of wide cross-section of sectors, so like food and beverage, construction. A lot of our companies tend to participate. What I could tell you is that for sure, we always have meetings, a lot of meetings, but I can tell you also too, over the years too, companies have had business deals that come out of it. And what we have seen also too, let's just say if it is that, there are some countries, for example, with Latin America, we've had trade missions to Cuba. And with some of these Latin American countries, it takes some time for you to build a relationship. And so therefore the trade missions, I would often indicate to companies who would state that, they want to get a business deal soon after. What we tend to indicate is that a trade mission is usually is just the opening. And so therefore what you need to do, of course, is to go back into the market, re-enter into the market. Not saying that, of course, trade deals have happened, business deals have happened as a result of the trade missions, but we indicate it's an opening, and so therefore it gives you, you have to build your relationship with the various buyers that you may have met during the trade missions. And so therefore it really is an opening to facilitate. And so we have been very successful. I know for a fact that a lot of our large and medium-sized companies have been able to do pretty well. They've been able to get a lot of deals. Their products are now on the supermarket shelves of these other markets, export markets. So therefore, we have been very successful. And as I said, a lot of preparation takes into place to understanding your needs, what are your expectations to enter into the market. And so therefore, yes, we will be able to facilitate, and we have been successful.
Yeah, just to build on what Joy is saying, we have manufacturers who are now exporting to the European Union because of trade missions and the linkages that we have created. Into Panama, we've been to Panama. We have our products into Panama. We have some of our products on platforms such as Alibaba because of engagement with trade missions, and we meet people and build on that. We have our manufacturers who were previously selling only to Trinidad and Tobago and now throughout the length and breadth of the CARICOM region. And I'm not talking about the larger players. The larger players do benefit from the process, but they could find their way. They could do their stuff without even participating in the missions. But they come to the missions as well because they see synergistic benefits from doing it like that. But the smaller players, the micro players, even the entrepreneurship category of 1 to 5, all these people come to the trade missions, and I would say the majority of them are able to get successful deal in some form or fashion via the process. Someone is asking whether the recorded webinars can be made available. Christian, you can probably post up where they could the link for that so they could get access for the recorded webinars that already took place. I have a question here from Ms. Deborah Mahabir Yearwood, and I know this person from Barbados actually. I think it's Dr. Mahabir Yearwood, if I'm not mistaken. And she's asking, Joy, and this is probably the answer to this could be centered around arms. She's asking, do TTMA have any links or interface with other small business organizations interregionally to exchange expertise, ideas, and so allow for business to materialize? And I just build on the question there.
Well, yes, as I said, we will be establishing what's referred to as the CARICOM Manufacturers Association. And so therefore, members could definitely look forward to that, where we use that particular institution, regional institution, not only to represent the voice of the regional producers, but also to help us understand more about other CARICOM markets. A lot of our members, as I said, CARICOM is one of our major trading partners. And so therefore, understanding, the regulations, import regulations to enter any other taxes that persons need to do, particular standards, national standards that, companies need to conform to, that particular regional institution will also help with that. And of course, being the voice of the regional producers. So will be able to really tap into that particular institution to really help with the intra-regional trade.
Yeah. So just to build on Joy answer there, Joy is absolutely right. We do have a very good synergistic relationship with other associations throughout the region, not just the manufacturers, but the chambers, and even the state organizations like Quoted, Caribbean Export Development Agency. So we do have very good relationship with these entities. We work with them because we have to provide a united front when we taking matters up to the CARICOM level. And we have to work with them because they are a very significant stakeholders for the TTMA manufacturers, not only in terms of we export to them, but we also source a lot of raw material from them. And there are many importers in Trinidad buy products from within the CARICOM region. We have to recognize regionally that we are one common market, one regional space, and ultimately we're working towards solidifying the CSME. And I am very optimistic sooner rather than later we should get to where we need to be with that, and there should be no separation of market being Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, Grenada, St. Vincent. It will be one CARICOM market, and we all need to work towards that common goal. And we do have a very good working relationship, and it dovetails nicely with the response that we gave earlier that the reach of the TTMA, the network of the TTMA is so important for manufacturers in Trinidad and Tobago that we could leverage for you if you have become a member of the TTMA. I do have some more questions, but we have really gone over the time and we have other webinars to engage. So at this point in time, I would like to thank all the participants for presenting their summary of their respective units, for the entire staff of the TTMA for working extremely hard this week. I am so fortunate to have colleagues like you guys to work with you to present this platform of TIC, this platform of webinars and information sharing and B2B. Thank you very much for the entire staff of the TTMA, the board of the TTMA for giving us the direction and the oversight, and most importantly, you, the stakeholders, for making all this successful. Without your participation, without your questions, without your engagement, none of the things that we do at the TTMA wouldn't have, those things that we do at the TTMA wouldn't have the long-lasting meaning and deliverables in a successful manner without your input into the process. So I would like to thank everyone for participating. Have a very good evening, and please use the opportunity to log on the TTMA virtual website, virtual platform, TIC Trade Show, ttma.com/TIC/buyers if you have not already registered. Thank you very much, and everybody have a good evening.
Have a good evening, all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.